Hello. Gonna turn off this video game that's on in the background. Um, Welcome. We're gonna do some game development today. Last week was this incredibly confused mess, but I think I'm hopefully a little bit more on top of things this week. I still don't know what we're gonna do because that's sort of been the philosophy of this entire project is that I don't work on this offline, or I only work on this when I'm streaming, which makes it feel like it's going maybe a little bit slow at times, because like game development takes a lot of time, and if you only spend, like I do now, 2 hours per week on something, it doesn't get very far very fast. But on the upside, you guys can be um, along for the entire ride, which is cool. So I am going to bring up the stuff. Let me see, let's put it like that. Okay, am I in the shot? Yes, I am. Hang on. That thing, always something I forget to like adjust right before the stream. There we go. Okay, now we're ready. Who's in the chat? A bunch of people. Arc Games in here. Octopus, Andy James Adams. Likes my wallpaper, that's nice. Kosilex in here, he's a rad dude. Oscar, that is a hard to read name. Frankincense, also hello. Hanna, hey. Hope the sound's fine and all that. This is what we're dealing with right now. I am going to show you the game. And with some creative window positioning, I can make it seem to you guys like this is full screen. Hopefully there's a little bit of sound too. I don't want it too loud. I want you to hear me. So last week we did this thing. Like you can, before there is like a, hey, someone followed me and I can't see who. Frownfish, hello. So before in the version of the game that's on Humble right now, that's like the released version, there was a GUI element up here in the corner. This thing is not a part of the game, that's in the stream, but up here in the corner there was a GUI element, which I decided to remove because it didn't make much sense having it up there. So last week we started working on getting it to attach to individual asteroids. And that looks like this right now. So it attaches to the center of Eric something Skoog. Hello. It attaches to the center of the asteroid when you're attached to it. You can see it disappears when you detach. One thing that I noticed right before ending the stream yesterday are these blue outlines should be going away when you detach. They don't. They go away if I split it, but they won't go away from me detaching. So that's something we're gonna need to look into, because that means that the asteroid thinks I am still detached to it. Not a huge deal, but still something that we need to fix. And if you haven't seen the game before, the point of the game is to get these asteroids, latch onto them, drill through them like that, and this is like the green part is the valuable part. So you want to chuck that in the wormhole, and it goes away, and you get a bunch of points. So this text here should be saying more than just purity rating, and it should be, like, we don't want it, right now it's at the center point of the asteroid, so it's basically, or it is guaranteed to be overlapping the asteroid quite a bit. Even for this oblong weird shape, it's still, like, it's in the way. So I'm thinking we'll figure something out that will let us put that like to the side of the asteroid, but still so you can like tell that it's a part of the asteroid. Not entirely sure how we're going to do that yet, but we'll figure something out. I think first we're going to look into this multiple outline issue. And eat some pepparkaka. Wonder, yeah. So, in the code for the player, which I can't spell too, here we go. Player, there is a thing that happens when it detaches. Attacher deactivate. If the target is an asteroid, okay. So I think I messed this up. Yeah. Remove attached player. This code, I bet you I managed to remove the call to this somehow. I don't know why. I guess we'll just add it back here. If asteroid is not null, asteroid, remove attached player. I don't know what happened to that. I hope you can hear me shoo really well. That's what this stream is about, really. Mostly about me shooing, and the game dev stuff is just second-hand importance. So this seems to be working fine. I wonder how and when I managed to remove that. That's good. I also actually had to do a little bit of... I cheated a little bit. I worked on this for about 15 seconds before I started the preview stream because it didn't compile because I'd been changing things in another library. And broke this. But that was just like these imports here were messed up by me. Repository needs cleanup. Okay, do your thing. Clean up. It's happy now. So that is going in the commit. That is also going in the commit. And yeah, so those like 6 lines were the thing I did offline. I am coding in Flash Develop, someone is asking in the chat. If you go to the bottom of the stream page, like below this, there's an FAQ with links to all the stuff I use down there. So you can be like me if you want to. So this is updated imports for inputter. And this is fixed missing detach or fixed missing removal of attached players when detaching from asteroid. It's funny writing commit messages because like if everything goes well, and especially when you're like a one-man team, if everything goes well, I'll never read that again. Maybe if I like go back and look like what did I do today or yesterday or something, but if it, so the only reason I would go back is like something's broken and I want to understand when it broke and why. So I can go back. Git has this, if you do, so that's actually something we could do. Files from subdirectories, unchanged files. Here we go. So in the file named attacher, we can go blame. I should have done this before the commit, but changes since. I'm guessing it's this commit. So this lets me see, like I'm going to set this to the second to last commit on this file, and I can go back. These are all the commits that included this file. I can go, so here maybe 28th. I can see these are the lines that have changed since. So this is activate, this is deactivate. You know what? I think it was probably in player before, and when I was redoing the attach stuff in the player last week, I probably broke it because I could looking at that, I could see that that line had never been in that file. So we'll blame on this one, and we'll look changes since maybe here. So this is what's happening here. This is some caching stuff. World center. What is this doing? Oh, right. This is for keeping the player in the playfield. It's not here either. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know. Is the cam out of sync with the sound again? I'm sorry. There's not much I can do without restarting the stream. I checked it before, but sometimes. Okay, so that works. Now let's get back to the GUI stuff. So I did something called asteroid information. So this little guy right here keeps a list of the players. We did this one last week. It keeps a list of the players. It keeps an array of the asteroids. Or this is a reference to like the grand old list of players that the game keeps. This is a local list of asteroids. This is something called a map, which we'll get into in a moment, and it is listening to the players that it will emit what's called an event, which is basically like a trigger. So the player tells the collection that it's in, like the players, this thing right here, I detached from something. Like this is me, this is what I detached from, and then the player collection can look like who's listening to this event on me, and it will tell everything that's listening. So this particular class has no knowledge of how many, if any, players are in the game. It will just know that something happened. It doesn't need to care about players adding or going away or anything like that. It just needs to care about when these events happen. Now, it keeps a list of the asteroids. So when a player attaches, this little snippet runs. It figures out what the asteroid was. It adds that asteroid to the list of like active asteroids, and it also adds a new. Right now we're doing a purity counter. We might change this. Adds childs that so you can see it, and then adds it to this map. The map is a pretty nifty class because it's like if you have an array, you can look up. Say you have well, you have a list of whatever. Actually, let's draw for a little bit. So this is what you'd call, some languages call them hashes, some languages call them maps, some call them hash maps. All variations are possible. So so you have an array. An array has a bunch of indices like 0, 1, 2, 3. In this array, you could put anything you want, like depends on the type of array. Let's say I put these little colorful objects right here. Different fruits, let's say. So we got, what's this? Like a tomato, a potato, an orange, and an apple. This is all well and good, but here we have a list of asteroids that we want to pair together with a list of like these GUI elements, like these display elements. So we could number all the asteroids, but that's a hassle. So instead, you'd have something called a hash map, which lets you index on strings or different things. And as long as you can turn something into like a string or a number behind the scenes, this is what's happening. So the programming language or the library or whatever takes, in my instance, it takes a reference to an asteroid. So I give it an asteroid, burp, 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 and I can look up a specific fruit in this instance, which is cool because I don't need to keep a list. I don't need to loop over something. I can just like, for this asteroid, what's the value I stored? Which is very nice. So that's what the map does. Like it's indexed on asteroid and it will give me back a purity counter. Pretty cool. So purity counter. So this is the problem right now that I want to get to. First of all, we're going to change how the purity counter looks, but we can do that later. So if I attach here, you can see it's at the dead center of the asteroid. Not very nice. But one thing we have that I've been using for, actually, we can probably look at that. Maybe not. One thing I have that I'm using for other stuff is the radius of every asteroid, like the approximate radius of every asteroid. So I'm going to do, I'm also not quite sure, because another thing is this, like I'm under it right now, which is really annoying. Hey, who's following me? Trainsburg. Welcome. Is the audio desync really bad? I can probably check that myself. It's pretty bad. Oh well. I have a good solution for it. I'll just do this. Meaning that you can't see my mouth and you can just ignore these issues. Smart, right? It's not like I had this issue before or anything. I don't quite understand how it ended up this way. But I can feel your pain, so I'm gonna do this so you don't have to have your brain explode. Right, so when I attach an asteroid, I can go under the display, which is also something we might need to think about, but I don't think that's really a high priority thing right now. So let's start with, or actually if I do asteroid, If I can get a list of the attached players, this is going to be super smart. Attached players. Actually, I don't even need the complete list of attached players. I just need one of the attached players. Then I go function get first attached player return first. This will also deal, if it's null, it will deal with that. I hide into like this thing right now is so high up I can't even see the screen. This is stupid. I'm sorry. I wish I could adjust this on the fly. Maybe I can. I'm gonna give this 1 second. I'm gonna try one thing. This may or may not work. We'll see what that does. Is this better? Maybe I have to do this so you can see my mouth now. Oh my god, his voice is in sync. Ah! I'm watching myself on the stream right now. On my second computer. Oh my god, his voice is in sync. Oh, it's ahead. It's faster? I can't do shit about that. If I do that, maybe. See what that does. That's the best I can do. Bah! And you probably have to hear the stream a second time. So that was a distraction. Let's not focus too much on that. It's still off by like a mile. I'm so sorry, everyone. Here I was, like, oh yeah, I got the tech under control, it's fine. Actually, no, I won't. Damn it. Let's just program. What were we doing? Yeah, I added a thing so I can get the first player. So for every asteroid in asteroids, we are going to get the label map. And then from the asteroid, we can get... Oh, assuming I make this public up here. And this is probably never going to be null because the asteroid shouldn't be in the list if it doesn't have a player attached to it. So let's just assume that for now. Now we can make a little point. So this is a typical, like, this is a Haxi, it's a garbage collected language. So a typical thing you do in a garbage collected language, in any language, I guess, is just like, I need a point every time I update this, like a point class or like an instance of the point class. I could make a new one every update, but that's going to put a bunch of pressure on the garbage collector that's going to have to deal with all of these. So just make one, and I keep it, which is going to increase my memory usage slightly, but still going to be better than creating them over and over again. Such is the life. So I have that, and I have the asteroid, so I can go point X is, and I can work out an angle to the player, and I can put the GUI element on the opposite side, so it's always like moving away from you, which is going to be fun. So it's going to be asteroid body. Actually, I can just do it on asteroid X minus player X, and then I don't know why I did that. Same thing for the y-axis. So these coordinates here are actually like the on-screen coordinates, which are in a different coordinate space. But it doesn't matter because all we care about is the angle. We don't care about the specific sizes of these values because we're going to mess with them anyway. So now we have something that's kind of like an angle. I'm not really sure if it's going to be off by 90 degrees or something. We'll see. But now we can do point, and we normalize it to asteroid radius. And then we use that for the positioning. We'll see what this does. This line does not do much. This is exciting. Oh, right. I think it was working, but the thing I forgot is that the radius is in physics coordinates. So I gotta do physics scale. There we go. This might be better. Might be worse. Whee, boop. That's pretty cool. Now the center point of the text field is like in the top left corner, but we can should probably be in the center point now that we are moving it around like this. I'm pretty happy with that. It needs to be the radius and then some, but we can do that. Let's say, I don't know, 20 maybe. So is the Microjam all about tiny characters? Not really. It used to be about me doing smaller games quickly. the first game I did was a small game I did quickly. No, actually I've done one before. This is game number 3. Sadly, the first game was never uploaded to YouTube, and Twitch deleted those streams. So that's lost forever. But now this game I've been working on for way longer. Plus I did games against Ebola, game Yam, which made it scurry along quite a bit in just a couple of days. I'm pretty happy with the positioning of this now. I'm just going to make it look completely different. If I remember correctly, this is an Illustrator, I think. I don't know which one's which. Did you do a Photoshop one? Maybe that's what I did. I think I might have. There he is. So, oh right, and I did this little thing too. Interesting. So I could do this with like a predefined graphic, but I think I'm just going to make this with code. It's going to take about as long because this part right here, the pink text, is going to be code-based text anyway. Because I for the text I'm using right now for testing in the game, that is like SVG file, like a scalable vector graphics file that I'm importing into the game and rendering. This is like a dynamic text that I can actually change at runtime. So I think I'm just going to go with that. So purity counter is a stupid name. Let's have it called. This is, I mean, really asteroid information. It's a stupid name. Let's call this guy. Who's following me? Kronu 120. Purity counter. Let's call this asteroid label. Much better name. I pressed a weird button. Yep, there we go. So we don't need this anymore. Do I have? Is this pure white? It is. We'll add a new color here called gooey white. And we will make that. So pure white. Whoa, excuse me. Pure white is a super boring color. So I'm thinking we'll do something like that. It's going to be hard to tell the difference, but it's going to look better. Are all asset 100% from scratch? Yes, yes they are. What was I doing? Yeah, I just did that. So text field is probably not a smart thing. Let's name them header and do another one called like label or something. Actually, let's do it the other way around. Because label is the one that's going to be changing, and header is the one that's going to be static most of the time. Stupid me. That's going to be white. I think that was pink, yes. I actually named this not white, but gooey white. Same thing for this. It is a slightly different color that's on the asteroids. I'm just going to pick that up. Yes, the stream sound and video is out of sync. I am not entirely sure why. I suppose I could check. Yeah, I don't know why. I really don't know why. What was I doing? I was going to paste a color. I think this is, I like this as a practice, putting all the colors you're using, also all the settings you're using, but putting them in one file. On some projects, I have actually put them in a little image. Make sure it doesn't mess with the colors when you're compressing it or saving it, but you put it in an image, and when you're starting the game up, you load the image and you pick out the pixels and get the colors from them, which makes it super easy to tweak the colors, because you can tweak all the colors in the game in Photoshop. You can just do levels, or you can do like just the brightness or saturation and all that crap on them super easily, because this is kind of tedious to adjust. This is nicer once the game's like done and ready, because if you don't tweak them every day, there's no real reason to have a moving part for doing that. But this works for a game of this size. Klonse is asking how we made the sounds. The sounds are made by Niklas, my friend, who's a sound designer, sound music man. There's actually a stream of us working on Twitch, which I may be able to paste in the stream, or maybe not. Well, if you go and look at my previous videos, there's one that looks a little bit different, and you can see, because we're at his place making the sounds, and his super rad modular synthesizer. He is a really good sound man. So the issue with the audio delay is that it's buffering in multiple places in my computer, and I don't even know half the places it's doing it. So I need to set a little thing that sets the sync with the microphone. And normally, or I did check this before starting to stream, and it was in sync then, but now when I started streaming, it's not in sync anymore, so I don't know what's going on. I really don't. So now we're doing this. We are creating a header that's going to be white, and the header is going to have the same text the entire time. And that text is going to be value. Supposedly, did I move that over here? No, I didn't. So this is going to be a little bit tedious. What's V? I don't know. Oh, right. It's that thing that we used to have. So I am going to the audio is in sync with the screen. How can you tell? We're going to draw a little circle behind this so we can tell where the center point is. And then we're going to adjust the text elements within it. Radius of 30, maybe. See what that looks like. Okay, that's interesting. That's a little bit too big, I think. It needs to be smaller than that. I think 20 is probably going to be too small, but we'll give it a try. That looks nicer. Maybe it needs to be a little bit bigger. Let's say we make it 23. Yeah, that's gonna be good. And now we need to add child header. It's probably going to be needed. I don't know about that. Let's do and then we'll move it up 10 pixels. This is one of the most tedious things to do when you're making a game. Stuff. GUI stuff. That's pretty big text field. Let's make it like a ton smaller. That's pretty good. I think it's snapping to pixels, which is, I don't know why it's doing that. But I think to fix that, we might actually have to replace the text rendering entirely, which we can worry about later, but it's going to need to go up quite a bit. So maybe 25 up. This is GUI development in a nutshell. It's like make a tiny little change, compile, run, make it happen, make a tiny little change. That's too much. How much was it before? 10? Was it 20? No. I think it was 10 before. That's pretty good. And now we do the label. Missing semicolon. Missing equals sign. Right. So this is, let's just leave it at 0, see what happens. All right, the size. We'll make this into an outline instead so you can see what's going on. And this is probably going to need to be a little bit bigger, so like 18 or 19. I think that's something. Yeah, that pixel snapping is not very attractive. I think the size is pretty good. Whoa. That was really scary. Now, let's focus on the programming. That's why we're here. There's a lot of other crap getting in the way, like coffee drinking. So we got this text field thing going, and one thing that's really annoying right now is that the font rendering in OpenFL is a little bit special, put it that way. And normally it's like a good behavior. You can see, I don't know if you can tell, but the text is like, it's not moving really smoothly. It's because it's snapping to like the whole pixels. So, which would be really good. If I was using a pixel font, I'd be happy about that. I'm not using a pixel font, so I'm not happy about that right now. But I don't think there's anything I can do about it short of replacing the font rendering with my own little thing that I wrote. And that's just going to be super boring. So we'll just live with that for now. I think they should still be... I don't know if they should be a little bit bigger. Let's just make both of them a little bit bigger. Make that 17 and that one 21 maybe? See what that feels like. I got no sound this time. That's interesting. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now they somehow got further apart. I don't know how that happened. So we'll move that down a little bit and we'll move that up a little bit. Sometimes the font has this like weird little space on top, making it behave in ways you'd not necessarily would expect. That's pretty good. It's a little bit too big right now, but we can't go back and forth on this forever. So I think that will do, and we'll just instead increase this little distance right here. Come on! Oh, I was pressing the wrong button. That's pretty good. I don't think that having that text be pink is a great idea, because if I have an asteroid nearby here, it's going to be completely unreadable, which is kind of a problem. But we can rethink the actual look of this. I think the functionality is good. Oh, I just realized something. So using the radius was a brilliant idea until an asteroid like this guy shows up. And then that happens. That's pretty annoying. Oh well. We can make that more complicated later to deal with that. So now we don't want this little circle anymore. I can keep it around for a little bit in case we figure out that we need it. And now what? We're going to make this text update. So here, asteroid, blah, 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 asteroid label. How about the asteroid label gets a reference to the asteroid? That would be helpful. Then we can do cool asteroid stuff with it. So this is not really going to need to change, actually, now that I think of it. Because like it will, when you detach, it will destroy that label, and when we attach to a new one, we'll do it again. Like we'll create a new one, and when you detach, we'll destroy it. So really this only runs once. So for this, we can go up here, go var value string. That's going to be asteroid. Now get value. What do you have get value? Interesting. What's value? Float? Yes. So this, and we're going to make that into a string. And we're going to do this thing to it down here. we'll do it up here. So we go. This is also a cool Haxi feature. You can go using string tools. I think you can go outside like that. And then you can go on a string, you can go rlpad. So this function isn't attached to the string class. It's just when you type like this, like using, it will map all the functions in this class that take a string for the first argument. You can use them on the string classes as if they were attached to that class. It's pretty clever. One drawback of doing it is that Flash Develop doesn't really understand it. So you won't get code completion for it. So this will take the string itself as the first argument. We don't need that. And then it will concatenate C until, okay, so we want to pad it with zeros until it's at least 3 digits long. And then we want to add K on the end for now. Was that? No, they were not just by chance worth that exact thing. I just forgot to stick it in the text field. Okay. So something's wrong with the value. I think I was a little bit sloppy when I did this. So I think it's displaying the score differently somehow. So for asteroid, get value. So this function called get purity rating is actually the one that calculates it all. I think I have something in here for this. You can probably just check in the thing that gives you score. I think that's where the multiplication happens, and that's pretty silly actually. It's probably spawn asteroid reset handle player. I can't even remember how this thing works, so it's going to involve the black hole, that's for sure. Handle 8 complete, score, add value, purity. So it's here, score, mass, or multiplier. Right. Let's get rid of that. Or let's not get rid of it, but let's, because I can't really see any reason to have that applied when the scores added up. That's just bizarre. So we're just gonna do value, that's gonna be an integer. It's also gonna be, well, let's have it at mass for now. I don't like this. It's not mass, it's like score or something. And then for the asteroid here, settings, score. And this could just be asteroid value multiplier. Oh, here we go. make sure this is not used in a whole bunch of places. It's not. And we want to move this guy up to the asteroid stuff. That's cool. Oh, right. I was also going to change asteroid because I don't want. There's really no sense in having value be a float. I'd rather have it be an integer. Float should be int. We'll just do math round. Float should be int where? Here? Score add. Oh. It's getting there. $213K. We can't see what that was worth because it's off screen. 161K. 62K. 495. So in theory, oops, drilling off some of the crap should make it worth more. See, 740. 814. 878. I can cut it a little bit tighter. No, that actually made it worth less. 831K, it's pretty good. Hopefully I can actually make it go in the thing. 495, 698. This is much better. Because you get some like instant feedback. Because before you really didn't have time to look at the individual value of the asteroids because you were so busy just shoving them in there. And the whole idea is that the game is designed around the idea that it should be worthwhile to spend that extra little time shaving off the chunk outside stuff of the asteroid. I didn't even read what that was worth because I'm not paying attention. So this is an interesting problem in going off screen. So someone is asking in the chat if you can get this game anywhere, and no and yes, I suppose. If you backed the Humble Bundle games against Ebola thing a couple of weeks ago, you have this game in your Humble right now, or an older version of it. If you didn't, there's no way for you to get this game currently. There might be someday, but right now there's not. $968K. Pretty good asteroid. $180K. 139. That's interesting. Worth less. Oh, I think I know why. So one thing that I need to look into that. My intention was for it to give you negative points for really bad pieces. I don't think it's calculating that quite correctly right now. So the value is the area of the core times the purity times the value multiplier. Right, so the purity is the relationship between how much of the asteroid is the green stuff essentially, so that it will give you less if there's, so say the asteroid has an area of 100 and all of it is green, that would be worth, let's say 100. If it had an area of 100 still and half of it was green, you'd get, let me look at the math for this. So it'd be core area divided by the asteroid area, so that's 50%. And then I'm using this little thing to like give you a little boost. So it counts up the purity a little bit, counts up the purity by 1.5. So it was, say it was, well, that's interesting. If we say it was 1 before, or 0.5 before times 1.5, that's 0.75 of the value of the original thing. This is super confusing. I think I'm gonna have to redo this because there's no way in hell you're gonna be able to do this in your head. So if half the asteroid is green, it will boost up the ratio a little bit just to be nice. And then it will multiply that with the total area, which I think is a bad idea. I think I'm going to do this differently. I am going to do, so purity can stay, but I'm thinking I might do core area. Yeah, so we do another one called like fluff area, which is going to be the asteroid area, which is the total area of the entire asteroid minus the core area. So that's all the bad stuff is going to be that. And then we'll do the core area and we'll just give like a minus thing for that. So we'll count that off from the score. I think that might be easier. And then we can do it with, we might have to tweak that. So now, if you find an asteroid that is more pink than green, it's gonna be worth negative. Wow, quite a lot too. Minus 16,000. That's not good. It's not good at all. Minus 600. Minus 192. I think my math is wrong. Minus 138. That doesn't make sense. Oh, it totally does, because I'm using the asteroid area. It's supposed to be the fluff area. Silly me. Woo, I nearly went into the thing. So that's minus, it's minus a lot. I might have to do something in between here. Because it's a little bit unfortunate if like putting a bad asteroid in would just ruin you forever. So this is pretty good, like 230,000. Minus 1,462, that's not very good. I'm also thinking I might round it off to fewer significant numbers, because like I don't really care it's 523 or 524, I'd rather it just be 520. So these are way too much negative right now. So minus the fluff area times 0.5, maybe be a little bit nicer. And then we can also bound the negatives. Let's say that they're never worse than like negative 200 or something. It's 14K right now. It's 81. 250k. These are all terrible asteroids. I want new asteroids. This guy right here. Where should I start? Let's do this guy. So it goes from minus 594 to minus 50. This should be positive minus 242. No, positive 242. 249. I think it's still giving too much negative. I wrote some code also to round off things to a significant number. Round to significance. This is exactly what I need. So we'll just put it in here. Actually, let's put it in here. Public static function. This is super funky code that I found on the internet somewhere and made work. So the value, we're not going to round it. We are going to do, or I suppose we're going to have to round it, but we do math utils round to significance, to significant digits. Yes, you can still split multiple asteroids. That is totally a feature. Oh, I shouldn't have started this off screen. 380k, that's nicer. That's much nicer. 440, 470, 420. So this is interesting because it's like, when should you stop? And like cutting off any green right now is a bad idea because that's going to give you quite the penalty, which is cool. I like that. 290, 410. 430. Get better? No. 420. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Hey, goodbye, Andy James. Don't leave us. So much work to do. So let's commit these changes. No changes? Unchanged? What? I messed this up. Here we go. So, asteroid. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm just going to do this in what? I'm just going to do this in one go. GUI works. Okay, what's next? Right, one thing I did in my little sketch is this little star right here, which I figured is like a purity rating thing. So you can, the game will tell you like, this is good enough, it's probably not going to get any better from here, type of thing. Once you go past a certain purity threshold, this little guy would show up. I think it's a hexagon, but it's so small you can't tell. But we'll make a little hexagon. Do I have code for that? I might. Draw a donut, draw a wedge, draw a wedge. Nope. It's a shame. So in the asteroid label, we can just draw it straight up onto the thing. That's cool. Let's do that. So we can do RP. I'll make it fill. My controller's running out of battery. That's going to be a problem. Colors, GUI. It's not going to be pink. It's going to be green. Right, first person mode. Maybe today is the day when we finally do the first person mode. I want to do this first though. So let's draw a hexagon with code, because why the hell not? So for I in this to that. Imagine, oh hey, someone subscribed. Elias Q. Hello. I wonder how big this should be. That's 17, that's 16 pixels up. Let's make it 16. And the angle will be I through 6 times math pi times 2. This is a complete revolution in radians, and this is going to do 6 steps. I want to stop like at every, like first one's going to be at like 12 o'clock, like nothing. First one's going to be at 1/6 of the way, and then it's going to be all the way around. So that's going to be cool. It's going to do 6 points. And actually, we can't do this up here. We're going to do this down here. Then we're going to do px plus, because we're going to put it after the label. Label x plus label text width divided by 2 plus, like, I don't know, 16. And then we go so if I is 0, that means we're doing the first one. We gotta, because this is the way the drawing works, we gotta go graphics, move to px, py. If we're not doing the first one, I is something other than 0, we're gonna do a graphics line to. Like that. That's going to do something. Oh, it's black and it's off center. And it's really big. Did I not? Is this not the proper color? That is totally the proper color. Why is it doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. Let's assume that was a fluke for now. So we're going to move it down by quite a bit. If I move that up by 16, we're going to move it down by like 8 or something. And the radius is going to be quite a bit less, like 8. It is still black for reasons I don't quite understand. Which makes it really hard to tell where it is. It's not at all where I thought it would be. Oh, right. So this is what's happening. It's using the color 1, which is essentially black, and it's drawing with an alpha of the green color. Not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. So why is this? Oh, I get it. Try that again. Compile and run, compile and run, compile and run. There he is. So it's too low and it's way too far to the right. So let's say we put it at 13 and maybe 8. Luckily the game compiles and runs really quickly. I don't know about having that be a hexagon. So, well, either way, it needs to be lower and closer. So like 15 maybe, and 6. That was probably too much down. Now that I think of it, yes, needs to go 1 pixel up, and then we got it. I'll try this in big mode. It's pretty good. Minus 93K. It is still not quite centered, but it also needs to be smaller. So we'll do that, and we'll do that. Because when, like, with this game, it runs logically at 720 or at 1280 by 720, so 720p resolution is what the game thinks it's running at. But when I do this, like make the window bigger, it will render more pixels, but the game still thinks it's running at that low resolution. So when I do something like, look at this, it's, the negative thing isn't really dealing too well with the padding. I like the smaller one a lot better. That looks cool. It looks a lot like an asteroid core now though, so maybe this needs to be... Maybe we just need to put a background on this. That would make everything quite a bit clearer. Did I... Oh, I deleted that. That's a shame. So I can probably fill with these forever. So what we're going to do is do graphics, begin fill, color, background probably, and we'll make that 0.3 opacity, and then we'll go graphics, draw circle, 0, 0, I can't remember what the radius was, 23. We'll see what this looks like. I'm not a big fan of transparency, but maybe. Party, son? Hello. That's obviously far, far too small. The cool thing about having the same color as the sky is that you can't really tell that there's a circle behind unless there's need for it, which is pretty nice. I think it needs to be quite a bit bigger. Radius is tricky because increasing the radius by like 5, a small circle increasing its radius is going to be, it's like it gives this weird, the changes are bigger for small values somehow. I don't know if that makes sense. So the circle's centered, the text is not. The text needs to go up. But I think the idea of having it be like this is sound. Let's move everything up a little bit. I know this is tedious. This is... So, wait. If this is 0, I could just make this be... relative to that. So that means if I move this, the hexagon will fall along with. So let's move everything up 4 pixels. That's a lot better already. The text snapping to whole pixels is killing me. Such a shame. No, that's not a good idea. That is 440k. That will probably give me a negative score. Yeah. That's pretty funny. 440,000. Repair that. So the question is, like, if I make a really appalling asteroid like this one, minus 220k, that's like that's fine. It's gonna be a hit to the economy, but it's not gonna be the end of me. $390. So what we'll do is we'll do if asteroid purity is bigger than settings so I have, because it's using that for some other things, like it's playing a different sound effect. If you do a really good asteroid, it will play you a different sound effect. So this should not have one of those now. Actually, 0.3 opacity for that is too low. It needs to be higher. 0.5. This is totally a science. Minus 440k. I also think it should be a different color when it's negative. $52k. So if I slice that off like there, no, still not good enough? Are you sure? No, it wasn't. It goes like excellent if you put in a good asteroid. Whoops, that was not really my intention. This should do it. Yeah, that gets the little symbol thing. Come on, into the thing. So another thing that I came to think of is when the symbol appears, it should move the text left. And we need to fix the negative value thing. So if this happens, label text, no, label x is minus. So how far to the right is that? It's 4 plus 3, that's 7. We move that back 7 pixels, 5 pixels. GUI development, guys. It's not rock and roll exactly. It's something you gotta do. That looks cool. This is gonna have the minus 200k. I think I'm just not gonna pad the value at all. It ate me. That would solve the negative value issue. That's gonna cost me. That's probably worth some, yeah. So we'll just not pad the value at all. Actually, we gotta keep that. Just get rid of the padding. Like that. Maybe, just maybe, we'll make that even a little bit more dark. That's pretty good. Another thing that we're going to do is that we are going to add a little transition to this. So we're going to do scale X is scale Y is really small. Actuate between this for a duration of 0.3, 0.4. Scale X is going to be 1. Scale Y is also going to be 1. And we're going to use an easing that is probably back, ease out. How you guys look at this? I mean, if we disregard that the font rendering is not really doing it for us, I think this is, it has potential. If we wanted to be fancy about it, we could make that value actually count up really quickly too. That would probably look really nice. No! So here's a thing you can do. If you don't want to cut the asteroid, you could just drop it off. It got me! But I didn't have to cut the asteroid, so that's fine. It's already worth 920k. This is gonna be a good one. 1,100. Okay. I really want to cut this corner off, but I'm not going to be able to. Another thing that I'm going to do before we're going to try and do the first person mode, which I really think we should do today, is that I'm going to change the ore counter. This crap goes away. I'm just going to use the terminology of score now because it's easier for me to grasp. Or set score, score, score. That's an excellent line of code right there. That should probably do it. Let's just make it be. I don't think the chat is dead. I just think people got distracted by bright lights or something and went away. 400k. 540k. 630k. So if that was worth 630k, why that's the counter set 1? I'm calling bullshit. Set score. Where's this coming from? Here, score. Oh, this is going to be hard work for the poor thing. This might crash flash develop, yeah. Oopsie. This is indeed the game I made for the Ebola jam. Oh, poor flash develop. Whoop. Try that again. Or counter set score. This was coming from here. This is no. So what we want to find out is where this function is called. Cannot access private field add. That's cool. So value, asteroid get value. That's all cool. That value is coming in like it should. So maybe this is just, yeah, look at this. Ridiculous. So score is going to be an integer, so we don't need to round that anymore. So I think that is going to do it for us. This is very redundant. Much nicer. Less crap. And we're going to make that public again. It's like the poor man's find all references. If you want to find where a function's used, just make it private. And anything that's calling that function outside of the class itself will, the compiler will be upset. Minus 130k, 610k. That's all good. I think this thing here, we should make it be tfx is going to be vx plus v width. It's going to keep that around. So this is me right aligning the text to the right hand side of the or extracted text that we already have. So that we don't need. This should do the trick. It's not exactly aligned to the right hand side, but let's put some stuff in here, see what happens. This is probably going to be worth a lot of negative points. Yeah, so it's just off by like 30 pixels. Why is it off by 30? It may be because that isn't actually... I don't know where the corner of that thing is. It has the margin built in. Let's just deal with that. It wasn't 30, it's more like 15. $17. Then we'll have it. Look at that. It's beautiful. Minus 45K. Is that minus 51? Yeah, this is cooler. It's going to be a really big number up there. Not now, now it's going to be like almost 0. Yeah, minus 4K. That's much better. I'm not super excited about this like going and be super long, but it is an improvement on what we had before, I'd say. Consider making it one step smaller. I went from 54 to 37. See if it matches up. Oh, it says 0K. That's one too many, isn't it? Yeah. Make it fit at least 3 digits. The fourth one's gonna make it like overflow. Which is, I don't mind necessarily, I just don't want it to do it too much. Here we go again. So maybe 39 is the magical number, or 28. Off by 1 on the keyboard. That's just as good as it's going to get today. Now let's try that first person mode before we call it quits for today. So the idea behind the first person mode is that, what did I just do? The idea behind first person mode is that instead of rotating the player like we're doing now, and the screen remaining fixed, we're going to center the screen on the player. And we're going to rotate everything else, making the player fixed and everything else move around you. I think it's going to be barfity, but it's going to be fun. So I'm a little bit worried the screen shake is going to run all over this. That's running on container. Right. So down here. we go players, head. It's going to be the first player. So if there's no player, we just move on with our day because there's nothing to do. If not, we go I'm not going to take too much care of coding this in a fast way. So we're going to make a point, a new point. It's going to be at 0, 0, which they are. Just put that there for clarity. And then we can go this little flash heritage thing. So P is going to be a player. Why is that not a player? Flash has a thing called local to global, meaning you can get a point inside something and you can work out where that is. So now we're going to move. Hang on, I'm going to think about this. Because the thing that's going to fuck this up, sorry, that's going to mess this up, is that we're going to rotate things as well. Like centering the player is not an issue. It's going to be fairly easy. It's going to be the rotation as well that's going to mess things up. So what we're going to do probably is that we're going to set rotation of like the entire thing is going to be the negative of the player's rotation. I mean, that already should make funky stuff happen. Now what? Oh, that's why. It's probably going to be hard to tell, but you can see the player's always heading right now, but the center point is just all messed up. So now we're going to get the center point of the player in the global coordinate space. So we're going to do center. That, and then we're going to do x is offset x, y is offset y. That might be the wrong way around. We might need to do negative values there, but we'll see. Yes. Or I'm just thinking about this completely in reverse. Wow. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. It's funny because on the stream, because it's 30 frames per second, you can't see, but every other frame it's jumping back and forth like crazy. It's like watching, like if you watch a 3D movie with 3D glasses off, it's like that right now. Is this not gonna work? What if we disable the rotation and turn this on? It is doing the flashy thing again. And it is definitely not centering the way I wanted it to. I'm not even bothering with thinking about this right now. I'm just trying stuff. This is something. Okay, that didn't really do what I had in mind. Maybe now. That's cool. Now we are, in fact, in the center. So let's see what happens if we turn on the rotation again. This might, sorry about that, this might break everything into a million pieces again. Kind of did. He's not taking the rotation into consideration at all. Why is that? I don't think this way of thinking about it is going to work. Might have to do this differently. I really thought this was going to work. So I'm in the player coordinate space here. This brings me out into the global coordinate space. This brings me back into the local coordinate space. Do I not want to go into the global coordinate? Oh, it's because it's scaling and shit. I see. All this crap is messing with my stuff. Might have to move the container. So now it's firmly centered on something. Oops. This is so incredibly confusing. So I think the only thing I have that is moving the shaker. So if I turn off the screen shake for a little bit, we can maybe pull this off. So the center is blah, 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 blah. Container. I think it's just moving the wrong way now. Where am I even? Definitely not taking the proper center point into consideration. So what if we go, don't do that, and try that. I have to be honest, I'm just trying stuff right now. I'm not even thinking about it. That's no good. What am I trying to do? I'm trying, just because it's funny, I'm going to try and center the camera on the player the entire time. Am I going to have to do this on my own? Not lean on the magic coordinate transforms. Okay, let's just do it then. So the player position inside the container, we have that. Actually, you know what? If I go container, I think I figured something out. Bring these guys back a little bit more. This is pretty brave of me, or stupid, I guess. Oops, look at that. To end the stream with one of these crazy experiments, because it always feels sad to end on something that doesn't work. But right now, it does feel like that is going to be an option. So now when I go sideways, this is not compensating for rotation at all. Why is that? Local container, global to local offset. What if I do that? Okay. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna call it quits for this. I don't really understand what center is. I mean, I can tell what the center is because it's like the upper right corner of the thing. Oh, right. This is the thing I was going to try. Hey, I got it. The controls are super confusing. I want to offset it by 90 degrees. It's so incredibly hard to control now because the controls are still oh, the centering doesn't work anymore. The controls are very strange. Because going right, if I want to go the way I am currently facing, I have to press right on the controller. If I want to go down, see if I can complete one revolution around this. It's so confusing because it's like when I'm right now the controls are completely inverted. If I go the other way around, they're fine. So going along this axis is not that hard. But if I go down this way, the controls are now flipped 90 degrees. Wow, did I just find an asteroid that was bigger than I could cut? I think I did. Oh, this is... I don't know about this. Put one asteroid in a thing. Even if it kills me. That's not quite the asteroid I had in mind, but whatever. No, 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 no. Okay, I'm gonna drive over here. Get this asteroid, and I'm gonna shove it into the hole. It's gonna get me instead, but that's fine as long as it gets the asteroid after. Yes! Yes! I am a winner. Trial and error. That is not a very good programming strategy, but if you have like 10 minutes to do something really stupid, it kind of works. The controls are extremely funky for this because it's like I got a lot of points though, 97,000 points. That's pretty good. I think the scoring is a little bit broken, but we can do that next week. I was gonna say, yeah, the controls are super funky because the controls are still in world space. It doesn't know that the camera is spinning all over the place, making everything weird. So the controls would really need to be like relative to the player. It's like pressing up would always be forward. Then it would make sense. But right now it's just this giant mess. But it's cool. I'm gonna add some kind of toggle to that and keep it in the game, just because why not? It might break a bunch of things, but who cares? I think that will be it for today's stream. I think we did some good work. The GUI stuff takes forever, but that's just the way doing GUI stuff is. It tends to take a really long time, and nobody goes like, "Oh my God, this graphical user interface is so good." Said no one ever, pretty much. Just something that needs to be done. Um, I guess I'll see you guys next week. I don't know what we'll be doing next week. Probably more GUI stuff. I want to get some proper. The game already has support for multiple players, but I want to get some um, like versus multiplayer in there, because now it has both the thing where like you can see what the every individual asteroid is worth, and you can also hopefully like fool your friends or like shove friends' asteroids into the hole to give them negative points. That could be fun. Um, it's just one of me, so I'm not going to be able to play test it very well, but I'll be able to code it at least. So that's probably what we're going to do next week. Um, all the stuff you need, like my YouTube channel and all that, is below this stream right now. If you have any questions for me, ask them in the chat. I'll answer them for a couple of minutes after the stream. And if not, you can find my Twitter down here and all of that stuff. But you know all that already. So thank you so much for hanging out tonight or today or this morning or whatever local time zone happens to be. And I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.